There's something serious going on right now. I want to break it down for you in this video. We will talk about what's happening with the debt crisis. We are going to look at what's going on with mortgage rates skyrocketing right now. Yields are going crazy. The bond market is telling you something. And in this video, we're going to look at it all. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you today. We are going to explain what's happening. The threat of recession is right around the corner. You see it every single day. Jamie Dimon is saying you've got to pay attention because there's a 50-50 chance. You see the Dow Jones dropping 800 points, spiking treasury yields, deficit fears spur a sell-off. This is never ending. What happened? The stocks were up, the stocks were down, the stocks were up, the stocks were down yet again. And of course, all of this remains uncertain for the next little while. People are apprehensive right now. Consumers are apprehensive. Investors are saying, look, we want to be in tech. We want to be in the US, but there's a lot of things going on that we are uncertain about. There have been, though, over the last while, some very clear certainties, things that I've brought up since 2020, and everybody in my Finance Friday has a deep understanding of all of that. I want to show you some things, though. Some things that are very clear, like the majority of US companies saying that they have to raise prices due to the Trump tariffs. Over half, 54% of companies surveyed say that they will have to raise prices to accommodate the cost of tariffs. If you are in my category where I sell on Amazon and TikTok Shop and Walmart, please raise your prices, okay? That would help me out a lot, thanks. But seriously, what I'm seeing across the board are price increases. Across the board, all industries, everybody, services, products, because they can get away with it. It doesn't even matter. But when we look at the actual raw materials and different things that are happening right here, that's not going away. They are going to increase prices regardless. Walmart CFO says that the price hikes from tariffs could start later this month. Hey, isn't it interesting, though, that Walmart restarted their shipments just, a little bit before what we had seen everybody else, like the news, before the news came out, almost as if they had some insider information that would have allowed them to say, yeah, we got confidence. Let's send those shipments out. It's not a small shipment. It's not like me, like the little fish, sending, $100,000 one place or another. We're talking about, at any given shipment, it's going to be worth millions for them. Look at this. You might say, so what? Who cares? Who cares about Walmart? Right? But look at this. Consumers are getting hit by surprise tariff bills. So they go to buy something. Later on, they get this little bill that says, oh, by the way, you owe some extra money. What about Americans with tariff anxieties or skipping the salon for DIY beauty treatments? And then, of course, it will go even further than that. People are going to skip the restaurant. People are skipping this and that and this. And people aren't going to go to the movies. And people, yeah, and I get it. You might say, you know what? Forget about Hollywood. I agree with you. Forget about the restaurants. I agree with you. They don't serve the good food, but that's not the point. These places, Walmart, Amazon, the restaurants, the movie theaters, they employ people, a lot of people, and those are the jobs. And then you have the knock-on effect. Target worker exposes massive tariff price hike for popular items. This is just one store. And of course, you can select a few things and, this could change at any moment. It could have gone up by 50% and it could go down by 20% or 30% or who knows? We don't know. But what we do know is that prices have been rising. And what happens when prices rise? Oh, they come back down, right? It's just a matter, it's just temporary. Is that ever the case? No. You may be aware of Jevons paradox. Something very interesting. It's like, oh, okay, we've developed this computer-generated stuff so that in movies we can reduce our costs. No, what happened is they created Marvel movies which don't even have human beings in them. All right, it's just CGI all over the place. You get more and more and more and more. More goes into it. More compute is required. More energy is required. Hint, hint. Okay? Buy now, pay never. Some Klarna users struggle to repay loans as U.S. consumer debt rises. Households owe a record $18 trillion in various forms of debt. Don't worry about it though. The government's going to take care of that. Many are trying to cut back while leaning on installment loans for basics. Corey, shout out to Corey from the Finance Friday. And all of the others on the Finance Friday, but Corey definitely has mentioned this before with the buy now, pay later. I remember because during, in this period of time, what you're seeing is people that they're not using the credit cards. All right, they're using the buy now, pay later, and some of those buy now, pay laters they do give you like, hey, you pay it in 4 installments. There's 0% interest, but guess what? People haven't been paying their bills. That's right. So, in fact, if you give people a chance to buy a Chipotle burrito in this method of financing, some of them are not going to pay that back. All right? That is a very expensive burrito. Please eat oatmeal. Okay? If you can't afford it, just eat a bunch of oatmeal until you can. Okay? It's cheap as dirt. Moody's downgrades United States credit rating, citing growth in government debt. This is a big problem. The government debt cannot be paid back. And if you think, oh, I know, we're going to save money here, we're going to cut money there. First of all, they're not. But let's play that game. The entire system is set up in such a way that it cannot be paid back, and it is not ever going to be paid back. Look, the so-called money is born out of debt, and there's immediately interest owed on that sum. So how can you ever, there's just not enough. There's not enough to pay it back. That's the fiat debt system. It is garbage. But that's the system we work with. And debt can be used as leverage, and it's a tool in some ways, but let's be honest, what's the threatening part about debt? It's that people go and buy a $17 burrito with extra guac, and now they can't pay their bills. Moody's cuts deposit ratings at major banks. So they cut the US, they cut the major banks. They are seeing the problems right before, our very eyes. Mortgage rates jump above 7% after Moody's downgrade of U.S. credit. This is going on and on and on and on. Do you see what's happening here? So you made it to this part in the video. So let's talk about it a little bit. You have the issues with Klarna and people not paying their debt. You have the issue with the government in that they have too much debt and it's impossible to ever pay back. If you look at what's going on with the stock market, they're kind of waiting and seeing, I'm not so sure I want to be, too heavily invested. So what you should do as an individual is you should look at where you want your money to be kept, not for the next 20 years. I'm talking about like, you've got investments in that company and that company. I get it. Maybe it's an ETF, maybe you got gold and so on. But there's maybe if you're fortunate enough, you have this kind of float, and there's some cash sitting there, and you're wonder, what do I do with that? Well, with that money there, you got to think about this. Don't invest that money necessarily into something that's going to be great for the next 1,000 years. You want something that might be good for 6 months. Right? And you might change your opinion of what's happening in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, whatever the case is. So that's, when you have a portfolio, people are usually, they're just like, I'm all in. I use Amazon to buy my underwear. Therefore, I'm going to invest all in Amazon. Oops, the stock doesn't move for 2 years. You don't want to do that, right? You want to have a portfolio, a real portfolio. I don't really like what mutual funds do. Excuse me. I don't like what mutual funds do, but the way that they build a portfolio makes sense. Look at it. Just look at what it is, okay? We are talking about a circumstance that is mathematically certain to be destructive, and you're out there with your 401k, your retirement account, your stocks, and anything else that you have, your home. These things are on the line. So be careful with that. I hope I made myself clear. Of course, if you need any details, you can always reach out to me. I'm always available. I'm trying to make as many videos as I can these days. Not enough time, but here we are. So if you want to get on the Finance Friday, and you might ask like, okay, I hear this guy talking about Finance Friday. It's enough of that stuff. Finance Friday is where people get the absolute most depth. I have been covering what the most recent one that I did. Okay, look, let's talk about uranium, okay? Energy. What just happened recently was literally, I'm pretty sure I put it on the community or blog section of the channel. But what did I say specifically in Finance Friday? You're going to hear about this one. What did I say? That the people, the countries, of Europe and all around the world, they're going to go with this ESG and green thing, whether you agree with it or not. They're going to deem nuclear energy as part of that, and they're going to go head first into it. Governments have an unlimited checkbook, so they're going to finance this. They're going to put the billions and globally trillions of dollars into that. I said that in 2020, and I quote over and over and over again the Cameco. That was the one that I used just as an example. I said, look at Cameco. Okay, that happened. And now, again, we're seeing, a similar circumstance. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm saying when I'm able to dial in this information, you're going to get the absolute tip of the spear when it comes to what's available out there. Okay. I could make videos. I could do it again where I'm doing it every day, twice. I was doing it twice a day at one point, and then plus shorts on top of that. Those days, unfortunately, are gone. But I'm still, I don't know what's going on. I am still here to make sure that everybody is aware of the most important things. It is an absolute passion of mine. If you want to support me, hit that thumbs up button. That's what I ask. Okay? You hit that thumbs up button, you put a comment. This is where people come for the truth. There's no BS here. I don't like to see BS in the comments, and I certainly don't want to give BS to you ever. If you want to join me on the Finance Friday, that is available at themoneygps.com/live. I hope you'll join me there and some great group of friends. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.